21-18. The Giants get their first win, and the Jaxson Dart era off to a 1-0 start, coming against the previously undefeated Chargers, no less. The New York defense standing up, but Dart, 13-20, 111, in command of the offense, but also some injury news to pass along in this one, as Malik Nabers, the star wide receiver of the Giants, is believed to have had what we assume would be season-ending ACL injury. We will look to confirm that through our insider, Jonathan Jones, but it is a knee injury for Nabers, who was out for the entirety of the second half. Back in studio, so much to dive into coming out of this one. Jaxson Dart, obviously a headline on the marquee coming into this game. So let's start there. The numbers, they don't dazzle, but the aura, the moxie was,
it was there.
Something that this team needed, and it looked like it bled over to that defensive side of the ball as well. How do you grade out Dart here in his first go?
For his first time rolling out there as a starter, I would give him probably a B+, right? Because he took care of the football, didn't turn it over. But the biggest thing for me, Moose, was he was pivotal on third down. He was really good as far as using his mobility in the first half. We saw a big-time completion of Theo Johnson late in the game to bleed off some more clock as well. And the thing that I really loved was that he didn't track backwards. He stepped up in the pocket. And people will talk about, well, he was kind of banged up because he kept running with the football. But I love the growth of him stepping up in the pocket and using his mobility to throw the ball down the field, and also use his mobility to pick up crucial first down. So I love what he did. You talked about his number one playmaker going down. That hurts a young rookie quarterback, because that's a guy that's your safety blanket. You can lean on him. And for a majority of the game, he didn't have him, and he was still able to squeak out this win versus the Chargers.
You take me where I want to go next year, because it's unfortunate to see. We're sitting with some Giants fans watching this game. The stadium, you could tell, too, had the air taken out of it after that Malik Nabers injury. It's believed to be an ACL for the star wideout. You said it's going to affect the way that you develop Dart. Correct. What does this do to the offense? And also, you're well abreast to it. The turf at MetLife once again becoming a topic that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah, and again, you've heard players be very vocal about this, like take turf out of the NFL. And again, there is medical history or there's medical research showing potentially the turf, having a little bit more ACLs than actual grass. But you see it right here. This is the play he goes up. And it's just unfortunate, because you talked about how does this affect your young quarterback. These are your last 2 first-round picks. They're supposed to grow together for like the next 5 to 10, maybe 15 years, hopefully, for the New York Giants. And he was one of those young receivers that was ascending to be a top 5, top 6 receiver in the NFL. We saw it last year. He was one of the most targeted players in all the NFL as a rookie last year. So just imagine not having that safety blanket, not having that guy where you can just throw a simple screenplay moves, and he has the ability to take it 50, 60 yards, right? A simple stop route, 5 yards, and he can break a few tackles and take it the distance. So this is a major blow. Again, we don't know for sure what the injury is. We'll wait for the medical people to come out and diagnose that. But this is a tough blow for the New York Giants, and more specifically for Jaxson Dart. Yeah,
early look is a non-contact knee. You saw as he left the ground there. It's going to limit what this offense can do. But you come away with your first win of the season if you're the New York Giants, and it comes against one of the best teams through 3 weeks in the NFL. Let's go on the Chargers here for a moment. What limited the offense in this one? It was obviously a stout defensive performance from New York, but where did you see differences in the way that the Chargers tried to attack?
To me, it came down to the Giants' defensive line living up to what we thought they were going to be for the entire season. Like the first couple of weeks, everybody was touting this defensive line, including me, as the best defensive line in football, but we hadn't seen it. Well, we saw Big Sexy Dexy with an interception early in this game. We saw Abdul Carter get a sack. We saw Brian Burns at the end of the game essentially come and close out the game with a sack. We saw Kayvon Thibodeau constantly get pressure. So to me, the defensive line really took over. But also those young defensive backs played hard. Drew Phillips, he might be one of the best slot corners in football. He's played really well this year. Nobody's talking about him because the Giants have been losing games. But he had some big-time plays. That interception that really turned the game over. The Giants go on to score, take the lead, to extend the lead in that game. So I really love what the defensive line specifically did from the Giants. But I love what them young corners, how those young corners competed in the back end.
Coachable moments here for Coach Harbaugh, I'm sure, in a road loss against the Giants. Let's finish with a thought here on New York, because it's a fan base that's looking for something to celebrate. You have the hope of a young quarterback in Jaxson Dart starting 1-0. You're going to want to see more. You're going to want to see the development. But I want you to write an open letter to Giants fans right now. How should they feel after all that this day had?
I mean, the ebbs and flow of the NFL season were on full display for Giants fans today, right? Because you roll out your guy that is the future of your franchise. He gets you a big-time win on the national stage, and then you lose your top playmaker on offense. I would say this, you can live in solace knowing that you have your guy at quarterback. Now, again, it's only one game, Moose, but I love the way he played with poise. I think that's the biggest thing for a young quarterback, going out and playing with poise. He never seemed like he was under pressure. Even when there was pressure, he never seemed flustered out there. And again, I talked about the development and the growth of him stepping up in the pocket and not drifting backwards. You see so many young quarterbacks drift backwards, throw off their back foot. We didn't see any of that from Jaxson Dart. Now, again, it hurts because he doesn't have his number one playmaker, but you have to love how your young quarterback went out there, competed, was banged up, clearly wasn't 100%, but continued to compete.
Dealing with a hamstring in the midst of this one, also was looked over by the independent neurologist for what was a knee to the head, came back in this game. He is a gamer. I know they are the intangibles, the unmeasurables, but Jaxson Dart certainly has much of that, and he has his first career NFL victory. More to come here on CBS Sports HQ. Next up, we're off to the Motor City where Flacco's defense tried to keep him in the game, but do a fresh hour of CBS Sports HQ. Joe Musso, pleased to be alongside my guy, Lige Deuce.
Oh, yeah.
Here to break down that early window as they reach their eventual end scenes, and we saw some earlier this morning as well. Taking a look at your scoreboard right now, Commanders and Falcons closest to zeros, and it's the Falcons going on knees. A 34-27 final is what we're looking at. The Bills and Saints also close to it, reaching the 2-minute mark as Josh Allen and his offense late in this game looking to put it away. The Panthers and the Patriots, one that we'll sink our teeth into as well, coming off that 30-0 victory over Atlanta a week ago. The Panthers coming up empty against the Pats, who flex their muscles offensively. The Giants maintaining a short lead over Justin Herbert and the undefeated Chargers in Jaxson Dart's debut. It was a loss within what could be a win. The Giants defense standing stout. Again, highlights from all of these, but we start where it started this morning. Vikings and Steelers in Dublin, Ireland. They're calling it the BMAC Bowl. Our guy Bryant McFadden across the pond offering his services to his Pittsburgh team as they are great ambassadors to this game no matter where they're playing. The Vikings 4-0 all-time in international games, going again with Carson Wentz in the absence of J.J. McCarthy. But early second quarter, it's Rodgers to Metcalf, and he is off to the races 80 yards later, dudes. And that's what you want to see from your 1-2 punch.
And that's why they brought him in, right? Simple slant route and zone coverage. The linebacker takes a bat angle, off to the races for DK.
Third straight game with a receiving touchdown for Metcalf. It's a lot of short looks for Aaron Rodgers in this one. Only attempted one pass of longer than 20 air yards, and his 200 yards at the end of this game helped out by that 80 all at once. You know who's always a help? TJ Watt making plays defensively, coming to life this last 2 weeks, an INT right there, the second pick of the game for Wentz, ensuing Steelers drive. Kenneth Gainwell gains well. Steelers extend their lead to 21-6 after the PAT. First multi-touchdown game of the career for the Memphis product. But Vikings not going away, dudes, and it's the first we've seen of Jordan Addison this season unhitch the trailer fella.
But I want to give some love to Peyton Wilson because that play right there caused a whole bunch of mishaps for the Vikings and bled off an additional minute on the clock for them.
Later in the drive, down 10, instead of taking the 3 on 4th and goal, going for it, Wentz finds Jalen Naylor, 24-21, 15 unanswered for Minnesota. Then after the Vikings force a 3-and-out, Wentz with a minute left, maybe a legacy drive abroad. On 4th down, pass broken up, and that's that. Steelers hang on to win this one 24-21. And in the midst of this one, Aaron Rodgers passing Brett Favre for the most wins by a starting quarterback against the Vikings all time. Justin Jefferson not pictured, finished with 10 for 126. You're starting to see Jefferson, his running mate there, and Addison. It could be something special, but they got to get their guy back as Minnesota falls to 2-2. Pittsburgh now heading to the bye, improves to 3-1. Again, Rodgers, 18 wins now over the Minnesota Vikings. This one, the first not as a member of the Green Bay Packers, the 17 prior, coming in the place where he made his history, but off to a 3-1 start. Rodgers, Metcalf, Steelers, trying to make more.